I got mail and money for you.
Okay.
I'm taking the bag back. Yep.
Cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Why would you just throw the money next to a blowing fan? Who was sitting this low? All right, which one is it? Let's hope this is the right chair.
Salutations.
Creepers in the dark.
How's that?
I mean, it's dark. It's dark in here.
We do.
Seriously, is it because it's so hot in here? It is toasty in here. Keeping the lights off. Otherwise, it's 100 degrees.
Yes.
All right.
This
I'll
is my
allow
preference. I get preference every once in a while. And
especially when it's your birthday.
Yay.
Happy birthday.
What, isn't
to
there like an
Joe
applause
Danyi.
thing? No. There we go.
Dun-dun-dun. So you can keep the lights off if you'd like.
That's right. That's your gift to me.
It's your birthday. You'll do what
100%.
you want.
That's right.
How old are we today?
49.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah.
So next year it's going to be big.
Yeah. I'm setting up because it's time to buy a Corvette. 50 equals Corvette and cargo shorts. Lots of pockets.
Midlife crisis.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm ready.
I get it. Okay. Well,
You get first crack? What are we talking about
I
today?
don't know. Let's see. Well, I feel like we talked a lot last week about my terror for Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
I had to sing in church.
Yeah.
I was petrified. I didn't die.
No. You got to be kidding
I'm still
me.
here. I did not die.
Let me guess. It went well.
It went okay. It could have gone better. It didn't suck.
Okay.
And I'll take that. It didn't suck. It wasn't as bad as I thought. It went okay. And then I found out Friday night that I had to do it again.
Oh,
there it is.
You just ruined my birthday.
There it is.
Just ruined my
Blinded
birthday.
by the light.
Oh, that's true.
What do you say?
He said, don't make me edit a dark video.
Ah.
Makes his job harder. So, all right, I'll give into that.
Listen,
that
it is
That's
hotter
legit.
now. I'm not going to lie. These lights, they're hot.
See, when Kelin is illuminated, it gets hotter in here.
Anywho, so then I had to do it again on Sunday, except I had to do more, and another singer was missing. So it was me and one other girl. I almost cried. I almost actually cried like a baby. I was like, no, I can't do this. But it was only a few people. And again, I survived. It was okay.
Good.
Yeah. How was your Christmas?
Let's talk about the major news story of the weekend.
I knew you were just chomping at the bit. You're like, enough small
I don't want to talk
talk.
about effing Christmas. I
Joe
want to talk
hates
about
small talk.
I do.
All right.
You appreciate me because of it, right?
Yeah, you know.
Liar.
I warm us up and you're like, all right, that's enough.
Stop with this
I'm
drivel.
warm now.
No
Let's go.
drivel. Stop with the drivel. Nick Shirley.
Nick Shirley.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
I've been seeing like bits and pieces, like reels and stuff people have been sharing.
Yeah. 42 minutes. If you haven't watched it, you absolutely have to watch it.
42 minutes.
So Minnesota, a dude teamed up with someone who was already doing research on the fraud cases with Somalians.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I feel like the Somalians are a group where it doesn't have the same sort of like racial or ethnic sort of like, I don't know, giving them benefit of the doubt. Like when we think Somali, we think of that dude who pirated another boat, right? There's enough movies made.
I am the captain now.
Yes, right. So Somalis don't have our heartstrings. They really don't. So when they come here and they F around and they scam the U.S. taxpayers, and you have a governor, Tim Walz, that like Ilhan Omar, open arms, bring this whole constituency to the United States. The rest of it are like, yeah, no. Like, we're not all about that. They're not bright people. They're not contributors. You've heard my scam segments, right? Where I talk to Indians and Pakistanis, and they tell me all about their life story, about how Americans are so stupid, and parting with money from them doesn't take one iota of morality from their day, right?
Yeah.
We're so stupid. Like, parting with our money is just part of the deal, and they are immune from immune from feeling bad about taking a 60-year-old grandma who had $60,000 sitting in the bank, convincing her she was infected with some kind of virus, and taking $50,000 of her money. That's a win for them. All right. So you invite all of these.
It's their full-time job.
Yeah. You invite all of these dead people into our society because they'll vote for you, and then open them up to all of the benefits of being an American and a citizen. And they don't figure out a scam to take United States citizens for all of their money. Like, who saw that coming? Only us.
Yeah.
And we preach against this on a regular basis. And, the liberals, they're finding a hard time, laying down cover fire for this group because they're just terrible people. And if we rounded them all up and sent them all back to Somalia, like, there would be like 5 people that would actually feel bad. The Democrats will feel bad because they vote in a voting block. So those of you who didn't watch the video, we had Nick Shirley, who went around to 100+ daycares, healthcare providers. And basically he took anybody who was getting block grants from the United States government to set up, like in this deal where Tim Walz said that we need to send federal money into allowing daycare providers to be able to work and also have their kids taken care of while they work. Great in spirit, right?
Yeah.
Very few people are going to disagree with that. And the Somali assholes said, oh, stupid Americans. I'm just going to set up 15 daycares, have no children whatsoever in any of them, collect my millions of dollars, take in my, when the auditors come through to make sure that my facility is safe for these children and there are no children to speak of.
Yeah.
You get a little citation, but I'll just pop up a new daycare and collect my millions of dollars. My biggest objection to this is we have infinitely funded like agencies that are supposed to be policing this.
Yeah.
And it took a 23-year-old kid with an iPhone and a microphone to go around and point out what the actual professional law enforcement people should be doing every day of their fucking existence.
And that's what I keep seeing too online is this young guy went in, like you said, so casually. How is he able to uncover so much of this information? And we've never seen any other reports
because
on
it's
this before.
Blatant. It's brazen. It's protected by the government. So you might think like these are scammers. They're really not. They're only doing what they're enabled to do through the functions of government.
Yeah.
Like, there was in November, there was a judge in Minneapolis that one of these scammers was investigated and it was brought before her court. And the jury found that they were scammers and there was liability. There was money to be paid back to the system. The judge overturned the jury's what the jury decided and killed the case. So we don't just have politicians who are inviting this. We have the judicial system who's enabling this, and we have willing scammers willing to take all of our tax money. So what do you think happens? You have a Somali family who opens a daycare, never ever intending to see one child in that daycare. taking the block grant money, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are they thinking in their head?
What are the group doing it
Yeah.
thinking? I'm going to make some easy money.
Easy money.
Yeah.
And the entire function of government is going to lay down cover fire for me.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm fighting the system where I'm trying to get away with something. The system is the enablers, and the scammers are just doing what scammers do.
Yeah, it's not even like they have a whole lot to worry about. Like, oh, what if we get caught? Like,
no,
there is no what if we get caught. It's let us help you do this.
Exactly. They're laying down. And so like my big disappointment is that the Department of Justice, all of a sudden, when some YouTuber comes out with something, all of a sudden they were like, we're working on this, right?
Yeah.
Bullshit, you were working on
Oh,
this.
we've already known about this, and we've been looking into it, and
your government is a scam artist.
yeah.
It is a big trough of taxpayer money, and there's 1,000 million ways that everyone is figuring out how to get a piece of what's in the trough. It is not about USAID. We're sending cabbage to someone who's starving. It's people getting wealthy, people having an advantage, people having an upper hand by using your tax dollars, period. That's all it is. So if you were to take, like, we sort of like, throw charges at the government that say that they're scam and it's a pyramid scheme and they're just, doing fraud. And we have Elon Musk that comes in and says, oh yeah, there's so much fraud. Like, it's not even worthy of looking at. It's all effing fraud.
Yeah.
And we as the taxpayers are like, let's put 3 people in jail for the Somali thing. And then we'll go back to business as usual, not realizing there are other states. And if we looked at Minnesota, what do you think something in Columbus, Ohio is the same thing? And Tampa, Florida is the same thing. And multiply what you found in Minnesota by every state in the union, right? And how much actual government business versus fraud is actually happening. What would you say percentage-wise? What's your guess?
Oh my gosh.
I have a business up on the hill that is competing with me directly, that is getting government money directly from the state and the government. I feel like a fool because I felt like filling out the paperwork legitimately and doing operations legitimately, and my competition is on the tit of government, taking money, not having to compete, not having to worry about making payrolls because their money is all free, because they're in a protected class. I don't care if it's black, transgender, Somali, Indian, whatever it is. We've carved out all of these troughs for every group to compete against legitimate businesses. So I bet you 50% of the economy is illegitimate. That's my guess.
I was actually going to say, I wonder if it's at least half.
Yeah, probably more, but I'm willing to concede that half of all business in the U.S. economy is done so with laundering money from one institution to the other. And Democrats love this because all of those enabled companies give money to Act Blue, right? That's another one. I predicted this a month ago.
Yeah.
Act Blue is going to be the January surprise. It is going to be the biggest scam, right, from political funding that we've ever had.
So here's what's so frustrating to me. We have now another example of the extreme fraud in our country and waste. What the hell are we going to do about it? What do we do about it? What's the American people going to do?
Okay.
Let's say everybody's committing fraud. Everybody's wasting money. Everybody's doing things shady. Everybody's buying their votes. Everybody's in the pocket of everybody. What the hell are we going to do about
Let's
it?
talk Nero, right?
Nero
in Rome. Okay.
Okay.
So here's the deal. Every civilization has hit this tipping point, right? And the wise people said that you're always going to have a little bit of fraud. But when you institutionalize fraud and there are more people fraudulently participating than actually participating, if there are enough taxpayers in the deal. So we talk civil war on a regular basis. We know we're pitted against one another. We are polarized where Democrats and Republicans can't get even to the same room. So in my brain, I'm like, there's going to be a civil war, and it's going to be against people who speak a different language, have different ideologies, and there's no compromise in the middle. And I'm like, oh, that's a tinderbox. That's ready to go. But what about if you pay your taxes and it's really hard to do? Like you got put at a huge disadvantage. And then you read an article about somebody who took that tax money and they're on a yacht, right? They're in Florida right now enjoying life by opening a daycare. All they happen to be was Somali, and they are really enjoying the hard money that you paid into the system. So the first thing that is likely to happen is people who are willingly to bend to authority, pay their taxes legitimately, and then they look at the lawlessness of everybody who didn't feel like paying taxes, felt like scamming the system, and you're like, I'm not going to write that check this time. You know what? I'm going to look at our forefathers who took a 3% tax on tea and decided to pitch the biggest fit in the all of humanity, right? I'm in. And all it's going to take is one person, because you don't want to be the first. Like, you know, like I don't pay my taxes. I'm going to go to jail.
I was going to say, don't you go to jail?
Yeah, you would go to jail. But if millions of people say, F this is a scam, and that my money is not being spent the way that, you know, was promised or even legal, you don't have a handle on it. Do you know what a zero-based budget is on in business?
No.
Every year in January, your budget goes to zero. You have to re-justify all of your expenses every single year. So automatically, if you paid for X, the budget for X goes to zero, right? You don't inherit last year's budget. You go to zero and you have to reinvent the budget. Lots of work, right?
Yeah.
But you take your labor costs and your marketing costs and your expenses on utilities and infrastructure, and you have to justify them every single year. If the government zero-based budget every single year, it means everything that was promised and law and blessed and allocated goes to zero. You have to fight that fight again this year, right? How many block grants would be given? Zero. If you didn't effing spend the block grant I gave you last year without giving it to Somali pirates who would send it back to Somali radicals, right?
Yeah.
You're getting zero this year.
If you can't show us
it's not going to extend.
What it went to and how it was put to good use.
It would be a lot of work, but a zero-based budget on the federal level would be amazing for taxpayers. It'd be terrible for the partisans, and that's why you see like the JD Vances of the world. Like I lose a lot of respect for Republicans when you get to this level where a 23-year-old embarrasses you by doing your job for you and doing it in a way where like you were like, oh, that's happening. What? Right? You have higher expectations for law enforcement to be flat-footed by a 23-year-old.
But do you think that it's happening that way because it's not just the Dems doing it?
100%. So what is that? Assured mass destruction, right? Where you don't use your nuclear weapons because your enemies would use your nuclear weapons. So if you out my fraud, I'm going to out your fraud. And we're like, okay, we'll tolerate each other's fraud because I'm getting mine and you're getting yours. So it is a scam. So you have the highest law enforcement officers in the land, right? Being embarrassed by a 23-year-old and then not making a commitment like Elon Musk did when Doge was at its peak. Elon was like, there's fraud everywhere and it's institutionalized and you're not going to get rid of it and do something. And he goes on Rogan and says something to the effect of, we discovered fraud in level 1, 2, and 3, we could probably get rid of. But 4 and 5, my life's in danger if I go after that. And you're like, oh, what kind of things would put Elon Musk's life in danger? Could it be politicians that have these carved out inflows of money from government programs? I think it might. And those people aren't going to willingly say, all right, fine, I'm going to give up my billions of dollars so Elon Musk can take a W on making, taxpayers' dollars go to things they intend to go to.
Yeah. And that's why I'm like, are we not screwed? Both sides. Everybody's captured. Everybody's protected. There's literally nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, except for on April 14th of this year, that enough people say, I'm not paying my taxes until you get your shit in order. That is the only thing. And the risk is you go to jail, but your forefathers grabbed a bayonet and they went into a field where you might die. So this is not as bad as dying. So the call to action is stop effing paying taxes and starve these scammers out of existence. Don't pay your taxes.
What about could doing things like voting third party make any difference?
No,
do you think?
it would be too slow. Like we're in an extreme measure moment where it is. We thought it was happening, but we didn't have a whole lot of evidence. To one dude in 24 hours discovered how much fraud is riddled within our system, and it was 3 industries.
So what are they going to do if people stop paying their taxes? That's not going to be slow. They're going to be like, well, we're about to throw a buttload of people in jail, and then they'll be tied up in the legal system, getting them out.
Okay, so what did the people of the revolution, did they feel the same way? You're like, hey, we're just going to start fighting against this troop. They have a whole army. Aren't they going to just kill us and destroy our families? Yes, they did. And it depends on what you stand for. If you're like, oh, you know what? I'm cool with election fraud and tax fraud and, these subsidy fraud and NGOs. I'm cool with that. I'm just going to go watch my Netflix. Right.
Yeah.
Versus the revolutionaries who were like, no, we're not going to take tyranny. And I'm willing to give my life for tyranny. I will spill my blood so the people following me aren't going to experience this. There's a difference between those two. These are the highly feminized, non-nutsack having, no testosterone having, unwilling to fight for what you believe in. And people are like, I'm going to die for my cause. That's the difference.
Do you think there are enough people that will think that way?
I don't. And
would
even
you be
myself,
willing to die for your cause knowing?
No, because here's what's going to happen. They're going to throw just enough justice at this to make it feel like we're doing something. And then everybody who is willing to not pay their taxes on April 14th will be like, oh, let's give them another go. Right. Yeah. But until government is shrunk down to the point where it's manageable and the people who are enforcing the laws around it can actually do their job, then, it's a fool's errand. There's no solving it. It is either get really bad that we revolt and create another revolution, or there's token gestures that make us just complacent enough to tolerate it.
And all they have to do is continue to paint it in a way that'll keep the American people fighting. Like right now it's Minnesota in the hot seat and Governor Walz and all this stuff. Well, people who are hardcore left are going to defend him.
Right.
They're going to say, oh, this is just made up by the one side or everybody does it and blah, blah, blah. And you'll never get them to align with you because they would rather just push back because the other side said it. And vice versa. When the other side has some things come to light, they're just going to say it's the other side pointing fingers. And all they have to do is keep the American people divided and fighting over every little thing, making it a bipartisan issue. And they're never going to do what you suggest.
There is conviction that is brewing. And I think that is easily alleviated by just having a token prosecution, right? Mm-hmm. When that I had belief in Kash Patel and Pam Bondi to do what was necessary to starve out the abuse and fraud, and they have no nutsacks. They are worthless and they should be fired. If they are unwilling to take a stance on it for the rest of us who absolutely care about this, right, then they are ill-suited for that job and should be let go tomorrow.
Who do they answer to?
The executive branch answers the president.
So if they started unearthing all kinds of fraud and everything that both sides are a part of, you don't think they'll just be kicked out?
Well, it depends. Like if you feel that Trump is part of the fraud and he benefits from all of this and he's just, an opponent to the cleanup, which I feel that he's not pro-fraud and he's not anti-fraud. His relationship with Elon Musk, that was the perfect scenario that got most of it excited, right? Mm-hmm. That when you say, yeah, we dug through the records and there's a ton of fraud, do something about it. If what you're met with when you say do something about it is it's more complicated, you don't understand, this is just part of the status quo, and you're like, wait, I sacrificed my professional career to do this and you didn't take it serious?
Professional career and possibly life.
Right. And then Elon's like, I'm fucking out. You guys aren't taking this serious. I'm not going to extend myself into dangerous territory. If when I
Yeah.
tell you the results, you're not like, oh, we got to end that shit, right? If you're like, that's just kind of how we do things here in Washington. And I would be out too. And that was my canary in the coal mine, that you were never going to root it out because everybody there is compromised. Everybody has their head in the trough. Everybody's getting their lick of that sweet salt, right?
Yep.
And so you can't root it out because there's no one who will take the convictions, take the flag, plant it into the ground, and stay true that they, Tom Massey might be one of those. Rand
That
Paul
was going to
might
be my
one of
next
those.
question is, couldn't we take someone like Massey or anyone, again, third party, have the American people finally so sick of this that they're like, let's all do it. Let's all vote for this guy. That guy gets in and he's like, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired. I won. The two parties totally gone. I feel like maybe a shred of hope. Maybe a shred
I
of
give
hope.
it 1.5% chance of happening.
I would vote that everybody votes for a third party before people voluntarily sign up to go to jail for not paying their taxes. They're like, well, I don't want to go to jail. How about we just vote this guy in? Maybe.
Not going to happen. And there's a weird thing. And I look at, I sort of look at our society as a whole and the things like these things that don't make sense, but still happen. And somehow, in my brain, there's an engineer behind the scenes that knew this could happen, and they lay down frameworks so that they protect their interests.
Yeah.
And then the public has a short attention span where they move on from something.
Yeah.
So one of those is the discovery of alien life, right? You would think as a kid, if ever we discovered it for sure, we put it out there, that everybody would respond to it. We're like, oh, light bulb moment, this exists, right?
Yeah.
And then you compare that with what actually happened. Alien life was found. They had congressional hearings, and everybody's like, oh, we've already programmed that this is just crazy stuff. It's probably all made up, and we're going to go along our normal day. And so the people who extended themselves out and said, yeah, I'm an Air Force pilot, and by saying this, I'm sacrificing my job because everybody's going to think I'm a whack job. But here it is. There's alien life out there, and we've discovered it, and we have it in a warehouse right now. And everybody's like, okay, but you're a crazy person. And they're like, okay, I'm never going to do that freaking shit again. Right?
Yeah.
We saw that anomaly, and we're seeing that again. We're the populace. We've taken so many dumb people, and we made them voters and put them in positions of power, that when smart things happen, when there's a realization that's supposed to come to your brain, doesn't happen, and we just go on to the next stupid thing one after another. And that's why I say, like, we're doomed, and I don't mean that in sort of like a dramatic sense. We're doomed because there's too many dumb people. There's too much compromise.
Do you think it's easier for the people to just tell themselves, you're crazy, it's nothing? Kind of like the red pill, blue pill.
Right.
Like, it could get really crazy if you knew. And people are like, I just want to go to work and come home and have dinner and be with my family and live my life, and I can't take any more crazy.
Okay, so let's just say your neighbor was a serial killer, right? You found out, nobody else knew, whatever. You're like, the world has to know that my neighbor is a serial killer. And I'm willing, like, it's dangerous to go out there and say my neighbor's a serial killer, only if nobody believes you when you say that, because now you got a serial killer that knows that you tried to tell on them and whatever. So your agreement with the rest of civilization is that if you do the hard thing and say my neighbor's a serial killer, they take it serious enough. And then if you are right and they're a serial killer, you would expect everybody gets upset, law enforcement comes in, takes the serial killer away, and they go to prison, and it all is right with the world. What happens if you do the hard thing and you say he's a serial killer, and the neighbors are like, well, no, they brought me Christmas presents. And no, this person goes to every soccer
You're
game.
clearly mistaken.
And then you're like, why did the world protect the serial killer? And then
they're like, oh, you're only saying that because you don't like him.
100%. And you're like, F this. I am never telling on the serial killer because everybody in the world came up with reasons why he's not a serial killer and so nice. And now I'm in danger.
Yeah.
The serial killer still lives there. And the rest of the people think I'm crazy. Never doing that again.
So we're screwed.
We're screwed. That's why we say we are so stupid and we're doomed. All right, let's read some comments because Jeff says Biden opened up the door and they ran through. So Democrats need. Okay, so I get these scam calls and I did a bunch of segments on talking to people from other countries where their playbook is different than ours. They follow a different rule, and if they take advantage of Americans, they think we're too stupid anyway. And taking our money is almost like a blessing, right? They get money and they take it from stupid Americans, right? They hate us. They absolutely hate us. And so if you start saying, we need voters, let's bring a bunch of people from third world countries in here and create some voters. Now, I will give Mexico credit. I have never run across a scammer from Mexico. In all of my scam calls, Pakistan, India, Somalia, like there's a bunch of countries that always seem to be the origin of these people.
Yeah.
Mexico's not one of them. But as Jeff says, there is going to be a cost by bringing a different culture into your states and not thinking that culture, that dehumanizing, unempathetic, no moral compass, isn't going to somehow take advantage of your institutions and compromise them. So if you're like, you know what, we really like kids and we don't think breakfast should be something that is elusive for certain people. So I want to feed every child. You would tell that to me and I'd be like, yeah, let's spend some money to feed some children. The first 6 days, only children would be served. And the spirit of why we started doing this would happen. And then our budget would turn into $2 billion. And there would be a segment of kids that would be fed. But there would be a whole lot of Somali, Pakistan indies that would be making millions of dollars because our gesture of goodwill towards other people would be compromised, and they would steal 90% of the money and send it over to their extremist relatives in the shithole countries that they came from. And then we'd look at it, we'd audit it and say, okay, can we get rid of this program? There would be 12 families that would not get breakfast. But the Somalis are buying TNT to blow up mosques and churches in Somalia. Should we do this? We got to preserve the 12 breakfasts that are in front of us. It's not an easy thing to carve out and say, well, Bobby's not going to get breakfast because of Elon Musk has no soul. But the extremist TNT Christian churches blower-uppers is what we had in mind when we want to cut off the funding. That's where we find ourselves in.
Is this why you never round up at the store, donate $1 to
bullshit. Show me the sheets of where every dollar went.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, 100,000 IRS agents were hired by the Biden administration to try to extract more taxes so they can send more money to all of these NGOs. They need more tax money to filter in to Democrat politicians. So they wanted IRS agents. We take those IRS agents and basically we take one IRS agent and we couple them with a business, a couple of families, and all they do is track their behaviors, right? They do something illegal. They do some kind of financial investigation and oh, you're in Congress, right? You make $170,000 a year, right? Mm-hmm. And you were just dealing with a hearing where somebody, for a CEO from a certain industry, gets information about what they're about to do. It's a closed door hearing. Nobody else knew that, just me, right? Oh, Northrop Grumman, you're going to be selling some munitions to the Congo. That's a big sale. So then later on at night, I go down to my Scott Trade account. Or I don't even know if that exists anymore. And you're like, buy Northrop Grumman, right? But then your financial auditor is like, oh, I know, because I'm following you every day, that you just had a hearing that you got information and you just went and bought some stock. I'm looking into you, and I want to tell you that that's not legal to do. You're just going right to jail because I am applying law to you, even though I know you're a legislator, and I know you feel like you're sort of above the rest of the people. So instead of looking at the people who are, following the law to a bigger accord than the people in positions of power, let's turn that focus and use that infrastructure to target the people who are actually scalping tons of money. $2 billion. What was her name? That political, what was that black lady's name? It took $2 billion. Formed an LLC that had $0 in revenue. The Biden administration cut off $2 billion and sent it right to her nonprofit, right? So if I tomorrow started an LLC and says, hey, politician people, I need $2 billion. Sure, Joe, let's give you $2 billion. Does it apply to me? If we're freely giving money to everybody, right? Fine. But if you sort of are, politically motivated, you're a Democrat and the Democrats need more money and you want to open up some scam LLC and get $2 billion, if that doesn't go unprosecuted, then why the fuck am I doing what I should do? Why am I following the rules? I shouldn't be ranting on my birthday, should I?
I feel like that's exactly what you want to do.
Carter says it shows that the mainstream media looks the other way unless Trump's name is involved. Importantly, breaking story on X, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't one mainstream media outlet that covered this story. So if you've got your newsroom, right, and they're like, what's going on in the world? Let's pay attention to things. Let's scour the internet for things that are going on. Hey, we came across this guy. His name is Nick Shirley, and he discovered there's fraud in Minnesota where these hundreds of daycare and health things are scamming the public. What should we run today? Like, is there any news stories? Dude, editor, I just told you there's a big fraud scam in Minnesota. They might have implicated the governors and people of power. Are there just stories? Let's keep pulling the room.
We don't even know if that's true.
No coverage whatsoever.
That was just a social media thing.
Or, as Carter said, you're like, was Trump involved? Was he complicit? Oh, yeah, Trump was complicit. He earmarked the money for them. Let's run the story. That's where we're at right now.
Yeah. And I was going to say that actually back when we were talking about everybody's captured, everybody's protected, everybody can get away with it. Not just politicians, the media that they own, everybody is owned. So it's like, what is Nick Shirley even a part of? Anything? Is he just totally...
He has a YouTube channel, and if you go back, a couple years worth, he's been building his channel by going to rallies and exposing, contradictions and people who are going to Free Palestine rallies, or he's definitely a conservative. And this was sort of like the pinnacle. It's in his brand where he just exposes truths. But he wasn't as big as he is today. 100 million people viewed that 42-minute video. And it's big. It's big.
If someone wants to watch this, they just find it on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. It's everywhere. Like, if you haven't seen it by now, I know you didn't see it on CBS News, or you didn't see it on MSNBC, or you didn't see it on Main Street, because they insulate the government. They are the protectors of the system, and they can't have the government looking bad because, Yeah,
I saw it on Instagram. My brother sent me a clip of him going around that building where he's like, oh, let's see this. This is another healthcare facility here. That's what the sign on the door says. Let's go in. And he goes in and he asks people questions that are working there, and they just say, you got to go.
Somalis,
we can't help you.
No children, blacked out windows, no cars in the parking lot, obvious scam. And again, Kash Patel is going to say, we've been working on this for months, right? But if it's so prevalent where Nick Shirley picked 100 that was on the list and they all were scams, what are law enforcement doing on the daily, right?
Yeah.
Are they not going and getting a lead that there might be one scam? So let's see how many of them and wipe it all out in one deal. Is this the nuclear carpet bombing of getting rid of scammers that are in the smaller? Or do they have a token one where they pick a guy and they prosecute him? The judge throws it out and you're like, see, we're doing something. It's totally useless. And if the Republicans want to be like, Republicans are freaking useless. There isn't one of them that I feel like took any of this stuff serious enough to make me feel confident there's anybody who's of value in the Republican Party. Again, Thomas Massey aside, they're not steering the ship at this point. Luna, not steering the ship. What's the dude from Pennsylvania, the Democrat? Dude had a stroke. What the heck's his name?
I don't know.
Wears Carhartts and shorts.
Oh,
what the heck's his name?
Fetterman? Yeah.
Those are the outliers. They are the minority of, even-keeled, open-minded, willing to, go for justice and whatever. The other ones have their snouts in the trough, sucking off the taxpayer money so much, they are they cannot. They are paralyzed because if they hit your fraud, you're going to hit my fraud, and I'm not going to make millions of dollars on being a politician. That is the truth.
So let's get the America Party going, make it big, get it funded, get a third party in power.
Takes too long. Not going to happen. I think our demise is happening before.
We're also not going to all stop paying taxes and go to jail.
Yes, let's all not pay taxes.
And go to jail.
All of us go to jail. Be willing what the founders intended, which is you make the sacrifice against tyranny and just stop paying taxes. Big boycott.
And what are they going to do?
What? When you stop paying taxes?
Yeah.
Okay, so if the department, Justice Department reacts when there's a video from Nick Shirley, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a big story. So they have the ability to react when they get bad optics and bad publicity. What do you think 100 million people decide they're not going to pay their taxes in April? Is that bad publicity? Does that feel like they've been pushed into a situation?
Can they take the money?
What?
Can they go in and garnish wages and take it? Just
like the forces, the opposition, the redcoats could come in and say, oh, you don't feel like listening to the king? I'm going to bayonet your ass and you're going to be dead. Yeah, just like that. Yes, there is hell to pay. But true patriotic Americans will sacrifice themselves against tyranny when the people that are spending the money and collecting the money don't take the money and spending money seriously. Why should it be taken serious? The collection of the money, the paying in the money be taken serious when you don't effing care. I bet you, I want to almost do, if I didn't fear going to jail, I want to almost take an invoice, make it for $1 million and address it to the office that pays invoices and send an in the blind invoice. This invoice is for awesomeness in the United States. I'm a great American. Send it to an office that pays the bills for the United States government and see if they would send me a check. What do you think the chances of them blindly just paying an invoice that I sent the government? I give myself a 70% chance.
We should do an experiment.
Totally. Do you feel like an idiot that if everybody was collecting free money from the government and you were not, do you not feel like an idiot?
Oh, I was annoyed. We've talked before about the whole idea of unemployment. On the 2 times in my life that I had to briefly collect unemployment, it was like pulling teeth. There were so many restrictions because they don't want to let go of that money. And they say, oh, well, there's so much fraud and there's so many people collecting money fraudulently that we've got to make all these hoops to jump through and everything. We've got to be careful, and you get nowhere. And I just want to scream, but all these other examples of people that do just get fraudulent money, easy peasy, and they get it and in large amounts, but a couple $100 to someone to cover them while they're laid off and going to another job. That is what you put under a microscope. That when you're watching, right?
That's my point. Exactly.
Not this.
Right. When they want to pay attention and make sure things are accurate, they totally have the ability. And when you're a Democrat and your administration is Democrat and your judges are Democrat, you're willing to turn a blind eye to accuracy all of a sudden. Why is it? And that's what we don't trust, is that politics has compromised all the institutions, and so they can't act justly, right? And that's what DEI did. That's what these, NGOs did. That's what these scam block grants have done. Like, all it's pointing out is that there's not a fair game that's being played. When you're on the outside, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm on the inside. We're a regular person that just pays our taxes and we try to follow all the laws. When there are more people on the outside, the people are like, I'm going to scam you. I'm not going to follow any of the laws. And when I actually get caught, the judge is just going to throw it out and I'm going to be on the street in 2 seconds, right? So you have me, who if I went out there and I shot someone in the head today, I know that I'd probably go in front of a judge and I'd go to prison for the rest of my life. But if you're a 17-time offender that happens to be part of some kind of class, you can rape, steal, and murder. And then by the end of the day, 24 hours, like, we're going to let you go. Until you stab someone in the neck on a subway or a light rail car, right? And then all of a sudden, like, how did this happen? He was in front of you 17 effing times. So do you think that judges, because judges is probably our next big giant to slay. Do you think judges should be liable when they take someone who committed a violent crime and they release them and they commit another violent crime and end some kind of life, is the judge responsible because they had a chance to put them behind bars to keep us safe and they didn't, and they committed a crime? The judge goes to jail just like a parent would go to jail if your kid went to school.
Yeah, because I was going to say, the judge is sure going to hold someone else accountable. If your kid goes and commits a heinous crime, you're going to jail if you're a parent, even though you didn't do it. And you maybe
you would have to prove the point that you made it easy for the crime to be committed. So if you were a parent and you didn't pay attention to your kid and you gave them a weapon and you
kept loaded weapons on,
you made them mad about something, jury could hear the fact that you were setting up for your kid to do bad things because you made it super likely for them to do bad things. So if you take it to a guy that committed 5 acts of violence and you're like, you know what I think you should do? You should be on the streets. Then you're like, 5 acts of violence, showing a true tempo of wanting to do bad things to other people, put on the streets, really likely that they're going to do acts to other people. So holding those people, the people that enable this, being complicit in it. I
mean, if you're a bar or restaurant and you give a guy alcohol 100%. And he leaves and kills someone, you're held accountable.
Right, because you were you knew there were signs, right? Yep. There was information that said you should or should not do something. So if you had a 5-time convicted arsonist, right? Mm-hmm. And they come before your court. Is 5 times to how many times does someone make a mistake before it's unreasonable to think if they came before you that you just wouldn't say, dude, not getting the message. You're too violent. You like starting fires too much.
Yeah.
Before it's your fault for saying, probably won't happen this time. 6 too many.
Oh my God.
Not going to happen this time.
It's not even like we're saying, oh, you ran a stop sign. You know now not to do that again. If someone's like, oh, you attempted to kill someone, I think you won't do that again. Like, no, the more heinous the crime, the less likely I'm going to go ahead and be like, well, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You're probably
politics
sorry.
Poison the judicial system because they elected people who weren't good judges, but great activists. And so that is your last line of defense. If, you have something that is not congruent with the Constitution or law, but you can have judges just be like, oh, you know what? It's more important. I mean, just look at the Supreme Court. You have 4 judges on the Supreme Court that are complete activists, brain dead people, complete activism. They're not looking at the Constitution and say, what makes our country work? And the structure of this document that's supposed to give us all of our insight. Let's ignore that. And what I really want to happen is X, and I'm going to dissent. And then the rest of the world's like, oh, dissented. Strong woman, strong, powerful Black woman. Look at her go. That is power right there. Instead of like, oh, no, she's a freaking judge. And her job is to interpret the Constitution and see how it aligns and how she couldn't get there to the point where she can say, I feel really strongly. I hate that this is what the law is, but this is the freaking law. And it's my job. I'm charged with doing the law. So in spite of my personal opinions, I had to rule with the majority here because I'm a judge. I'm a Supreme Court judge.
Yeah, I mean, we see that even with like ICE and people trying to like get in the way of ICE agents and they're breaking the law. And then it's like, actually, they're not. And here's the law. And here's the section in which they do actually have the right and the ability to do this. Well, we're going to stop them anyways. And we're going to do this anyways. It's like, oh, well, how about you go stop this? How about you go stop this fraud and stop this illegal activity? Oh, well, I mean, we don't even know if that's true.
Like, so let me do an I told you so moment. Let's both of us do an I told you so moment. We know the math of what happens with human nature and just people in general, right? And if I tell you that you have a small limited government, that they can't do a lot of things, so they can't make a lot of changes. So it's not that they don't want to do their politics and inflict it on you. They just can't because it's a super limited, underfunded. They can't solve world hunger, but they also can't give money to their friends, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the model of the zero-based, right? It's too small to make any kind of impact. So it's up to other people outside. Like if it weren't the government that was causing the fraud, you know who'd be causing the fraud? Regular people.
Smaller groups.
Businesses.
Yeah.
Churches, right? And so the government's like, we don't want fraud, so we don't want them to commit the fraud, so we're going to commit the fraud. So fraud's going to happen.
At least
so
we can control the fraud.
The deal is that once a company or a church gets outed for fraud, you can choose to never do business with them, and you can beat them into submission and make them disappear. The government, not so much.
That's why I say, what the hell are we going to do about it? Nothing.
Oh, we committed
can't
fraud.
just boycott.
Sorry.
We can't have some other business now that we support instead of theirs. There's literally nothing we can do.
Yeah. My libertarian tendencies say that what we did was all wrong. I told you so, that if you give government more power, they're going to take advantage of it. You create a social program and it's going to be compromised. Then institutionally, it's going to be supported. So it's going to be commissioned and sanctioned. Those are two important words I thought a lot about this week. Commissioned and sanctioned.
Commissioned and sanctioned.
Okay. Government does a lot of commissions and sanctions. Do you know the difference between a commission and a sanction?
No.
So if I were to sanction someone, I would give something. I wouldn't be involved, right? But I would give either my criticism or my blessing to something. So if I saw that, I really wanted people to fish, and there were a lot of people that were showing up without fishing licenses. And what I would do is I would say, listen, the enforcement agency that basically patrols fishing licenses, let's pull them all out in the field, right? And so what I'm doing is I'm sanctioning. I want something to happen, so I'm using the institution to make it more likely that happens, right? Mm-hmm. If I were to be opposed to it, I would put more patrols and make sure everybody without a fishing license is not fishing. If I believe in my soul that there should be more people able to fish without fishing license, then just the fact that there aren't enough patrolmen to get everybody, I'm sanctioning it. Like laying down the groundwork for something to occur. So it's almost like unlocking the doors and removing barricades for Nancy Pelosi on January 6th. Now, commissioning, right? That is where I'm institutionally, I'm not only sanctioning it, it has my, eternal blessing, but I also want to facilitate the thing from happening. I want to make sure that not only that it might happen, that it absolutely happens. Where I commission and I put actual payroll for my patrol officers, right? Not to just avoid ticketing people for fishing without a license, but I start going out in the field and say, you want to go fishing today, don't you? Right? Why don't you go fishing? Like, I can tell you there's nobody patrolling today. So if you wanted to go fishing, you could absolutely go fishing. Here's a rod and reel, right? I'm commissioning you to go out and go fishing because I want that to happen. I promise you that you're not going to get caught. So our government is in the business of taking its pet projects and sanctioning, commissioning, so that things that are maybe illegal won't be enforced. So if you ignore people coming over the southern border, what are you sanctioning or commissioning? You're sanctioning it, right? Mm-hmm. If you're grabbing people from Somalia, right, and you're en masse bringing them to one U.S. city and dropping them all in so you can be elected, you're commissioning those things. Should they be able to sanction or commission anything?
No.
They should be active that way.
So what's patrolling? Like what's keeping them from doing that? So whenever they want.
So if IRS agents, right, are going around paying attention to your $600 Venmo payments and wanting you to take the incoming $600 so that they can collect taxes on them, right? Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing. They're not on the other side of it. The IRS is about collection, not disbursement.
Yeah.
You have an office within government that is charged with sending checks. All right. And as Elon Musk found out, they don't really pay much attention to the people receiving the checks should be due to save those checks. Like, whose job is that? Whose job is to go to the places receiving a check and making sure that they are worthy of the check? How many times have you received a government anything funding, whether it be stimulus checks or PPP loans or SBA loans, and then you get a physical person that says, hey, guys, I'm from the government. I'm just making sure that what you said on your application is actually happening, right? Mm-hmm. So tell me about your business. Show me what you're doing here. Oh, you're completely legitimate. Good on you. I'm going to give you a green check mark as a person that was completely compliant with what you said. How many of those places, and I'm not talking law enforcement coming after fraud has been reported. I'm saying if I sent you a check I have a person that checks on the check. Just like the IRS checks on the payment side, that there has to be something that just randomly goes and sees what the government's paying for is actually happening, how it's going down. Defend yourself as the person that's a recipient of free money. Tell me why you received it and show me that it's being received well. Oh, you said, I was watching a story about an insurance agent. Like insurance companies have this figured out. They make insurance payments, right? And say, you got into a car accident and we sent you a check to make sure that you spent the check on buying a replacement car, and you just didn't take the money and buy a bunch of big screen TVs and whatnot. So an insurance company sends an auditor and says, hey, we sent you a check to replace your car. Did you buy that car yet? Right? Oh yeah, it's sitting in my garage. Cool. That's exactly what happened. Green check mark for you. Yeah. Oh, like you didn't buy the car yet? Are you waiting? Is that money somewhere? And I'm going to sue you if you don't buy that car already. I already spent the money on what? I don't care. Your obligation in this contract was I give you the money. You go buy the replacement car. If you haven't done it yet, it's on you to go have a car in your driveway because that's the stipulation of the arrangement. Insurance companies know how to do it, but government sending out money, right? Mm. And so you take 50 states worth of fraud. Guess what the other fraud is going to be probably bigger? We send $2 billion to Somalia or Uganda to feed people. Should there be a person that goes in there and say, hey, we sent you $2 billion, show us the food? Oh, you know what? We bought like 5 bananas and we sent the rest to the warlord over there and whatever. And they're like, okay, time. No more sending you money.
That's not what that was for.
Right. So the institution should be bloated. And if it was bloated with auditors, I'd be fine with it. But it's not. We bloat it with collection side. We go after billionaires to take more of their money. How's a billionaire feel like we should take more of your money when they find out the billions of dollars were spent with Somalian daycares? How are they feeling right now? Do you really need more money?
Or dumb shit. Like, I mean, I've mentioned before, I still get notices to this day from the state of Alabama claiming I owe them money from 2020 when I was laid off because they made an error on my paperwork. And I'm like, I didn't make any errors. I didn't even get all the money from you guys. You actually owe me, and I dropped it. But because you made an error, now you're like, well, we shouldn't have sent you any, and now you owe us all this money back. The hell I do. Here's where I did my part. Here's where I did what I was supposed to do. And here's where you all effed up. I don't owe you shit. But you're going to 5 years later suddenly be concerned about that. How about all the other stuff you could be going out after?
Regular people get audited. Everyone else gets budget increases.
Yeah.
It's exactly how it works. Jerry says, happy birthday, Joe. Have a double shot to celebrate. I will after the show. I will. Stacey Abrams was the chick who got $2 billion for her never, no revenue, no business activity. Gets $1 billion. That is a good effing deal. Isn't it amazing? I'm sure I could get that same $1 billion.
Wow.
And Tammy was saying Fetterman, which we came to that conclusion. Fetterman is on my probably top 50 list of people who I think is reasonable enough to take charge on this.
Yeah.
But there's count 12. Give me 12 people within the entire legislature who you would trust to be open-minded.
There are not 12.
There's not 12.
No.
I would say Rand Paul. I would say Tom Massey. The leadership is compromised. Kennedy. Kennedy's one of my favorite. That dude is awesome. So I got 3.
RFK Jr.?
Well, he's on the legislature, so he's part of the administration.
You're talking about the other Kennedy. Yeah.
Yeah, John Kennedy. He's a beast.
But I also like RFK Jr. Yeah. I'm just saying.
You're a fan.
A fan.
Jerry says, so happy that Carter and his pal Jeff B have found a place to play. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's, boys. Have fun. Maybe someday you will get the nerve to actually call in and talk.
What?
Jerry talking some smack.
Carter and his pal Jeff B.
Yeah, anybody wants to call, like I promised Isaac this morning that I would turn on the phones, and I was assuming that he was going to call, but he has not. But the phones are open if you want to talk to Kelin. I'm not going to talk to you because it's my birthday and I don't want to. I didn't want the lights on either, but look at all the compromises I am taking.
On your own birthday.
On my own birthday. I should be able to have the lights off and have Kelin talk to people on the phone. Not have to.
You know who I kind of want to call out?
Who?
Do you think Matthew's listening? Matthew, our listener, Matthew. I don't know.
Sakura?
I don't know.
Sakakura?
I don't know. Matthew's got a whole lot to say in the comment section of our videos yet.
Does he really?
What were we talking about the one day? We were talking about, I think, abortion, maybe something, trans. Might have been we were talking about grooming kids. I don't remember. And he commented, LOL, yet another subject you two know nothing about to talk about. And I was like, Matthew, I didn't comment. I just went about my day and that was that.
Let me
but I was
tell
like,
you
you are welcome to discuss with us.
One of the, like a couple of our videos, somebody had said something like, hey, they're talking from one perspective. What about getting the other side of the perspective? The deal is that we have an open forum.
Yes.
Not only can you call on the phones, but I will invite any Democrat whatsoever to come in and debate me. It is an open invitation to all. The problem is that the penis and the nutsack is replaced with a vagina when it comes to talking politics.
Vaginas that way.
Listen,
I'm pretty sure I'm sitting here.
No, metaphorically a vagina. Metaphorically.
I know what you mean.
And open invitation means that take the keyboard strokes and convert it into conversation with me. And I will defend. I know what I know and I know what I don't know. And I will defer to anyone who has a different perspective. And I know a lot of you out there just think differently and have a different language structure and you have different definition for words. And I appreciate that. We're not going to speak the same language and we'll probably come to the middle and say we just agree to disagree. That's fine. I have no problem with that. My job is not to change anybody's minds, right?
Yeah.
I am only here to take someone who was an idiot yesterday about something and persuade them when they went from I didn't know to, oh, I know a little bit more, and I'm an authority on I told you so. So I have been right more than I have been wrong, okay? So if you want to put stock in someone who guesses right more than they guess wrong, put it in me. If you need just one person across the board to like hitch your wagon to, I'm a good bet, okay?
Yeah.
And it might take more than one, quarter for me to be proven right, but long term, I'm right.
And what's so funny is how often we'll hear, oh, well, I could discuss this, but I don't want to come on camera and I can't come down there at this time and I can't blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's fine. That's reasonable. But then you got big fighting words on the internet.
Right.
Like you're not even respectfully disagreeing. You're not even up for an open conversation. You do these quick little, you're stupids, and you run.
Right.
And it's like, well, where are you then? Well, come on down.
Well, and the intimidating part about us is that we will basically call them as we see them. We are not fans of Republicans or Democrats. In this show, I said that the current administration is also nutsackless and they're inept. And if they had a role of law enforcement, that they would have done it before this video had ever a chance. Mm-hmm. And I don't think any of those liberal Democrats that are taking criticisms on you and I could say anything bad about Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or the Democrats. They're incapable. And so they know that their side is completely vulnerable.
Or any social issue that is supported in some way by them.
They can't be objective on it. So they know they're vulnerable on literally anything. So it would be like 2 seconds before all I do is point out something that they can't even fathom in their brain. They're delusional about it and they push it down like Joe Biden was complete. He could do backflips. He's as sharp as a tack, right? They tell themselves these little lies in their head. And Nancy Pelosi she totally is a good stock picker and she didn't facilitate January 6th and all these things that they cannot fathom. Like every election has been completely honest. There's been no fraud. Like they tell themselves these lies and we're like, well, what about this? And it conflicts with the religion of being a Democrat. And so they can't say it or else they give up their religion. They're zealots. And it's just hard to talk to me because I'm going to poke a little hole in what they believe and what makes them a person. And that's hard to hear.
On Christmas, I had a family member admit that they have Trump derangement syndrome.
That's big.
And I said to them, the first step is admitting it.
Yeah. Do you think there is
hope?
Do you think there will be like little gatherings for people in Trump Anonymous? Trump Anonymous.
Trump Anonymous.
Trump Anonymous. They'll get together and say, Yeah, I opened the news and I went right in and I searched for Trump to see what I could feel bad about him today. I know I'm an addict.
Because they even said, they're like, I still don't like him. And I said, fair. Not asking you to like him, not asking you to think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. He's not. There's a lot of things you can throw out there of reasons why you wouldn't like the guy. But there's a lot of bullshit that people are claiming are reasons not to like him. And those aren't true. And if you can at least admit that, there's hope. There's hope.
One of the first sessions that I would have with my Trump derangement syndrome, I'm going to coach them. I'm going to be there for them in their moment of vulnerability, right? And I'm going to say, listen, I told you, because I'm always right, and I told you so long ago. I said, here's the deal. Trump has foibles all the time. All I want you to do is key in on the factual true ones and stop gang tackling on things that are easily disproven and you want to believe.
Yes.
Right? And so is he a Nazi? Like, I'm going to ask you, is he a Nazi? And I want you to get to the point where you can say, all right, I was being a little dramatic. He's not a Nazi. I don't like him. So I use the meanest word I can think of. And he's really not a Nazi. Then I'll be like, this is good. I'm so proud of you for saying that you don't think he's a Nazi. All I want you to do is, every administration needs its critics, but those critics have to use things that are actually true. Yeah. And then I'll listen to it, because then when you say something like, I saw this weekend where Trump threw a baby into a lake. Did you read that one?
No.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Trump threw a baby into a lake. Right now, you have to be like, okay, part of me says, did he throw a baby into a lake? I want to know this. And I'm like, oh, it came from that person who said he's a Nazi, said he's a pedophile, said he's a this thing.
I was like, was it a baby animal that should have been in the lake?
I don't know. But immediately, as a reasonable person, I put in the category, this is another one of the things that the boy who cried wolf said.
Fake news.
And it's like, fake news.
Yeah.
And now, like, but again, I have some guilt and shame. And like, what if he did really throw a baby in a lake? I would want to know about it.
Look it
but
up.
You've ruined me. All your TDS people ruined me, because no matter what you say, I'm going to be like, okay, it's another one of the things that you say.
He will give you enough ammunition on his own.
100%.
You don't have to go looking for a reason to be annoyed by him. So don't spew the fake ones. And now you look like everything you say can be discredited. You're not trustworthy. You have Trump derangement syndrome. You're a crazy person. Like, Now there's no one on your side because you chose to fling the ridiculousness.
And you ruined it, so nobody will listen to you ever. Even if you felt like what you said was truthful and it went along with your confirmation biases that you had, you feel better about it. But nobody's going to take anything you say serious. And then, just like the boy who cried wolf, you're going to actually have something that everybody needs to say or need to know about, and you're going to say it, and they're going to be like, "Oh, okay, all right." Now
you're going to have someone come on the internet and show all kinds of proof of fraud, and you're going to have people that will still defend the person doing it.
That's right.
Because they're captured.
Right. Burton said, I would love to talk about St. Baldrick's and shade Youngstown, but not sure if you would want to switch subjects from politics. I always want to switch subjects from politics. So what's this about? Do you know anything about it?
A little bit. So I don't know exactly what Youngstown does. I've heard of it. St. Baldrick's, isn't it? Where like people shave their head. Youngstown has a big sort of gathering, possibly at Penguin City. I think they've done this before. Childhood cancer charity. Every child deserves to grow up. Yeah, and people shave their heads.
See, I was just kind of sandbagging and playing stupid, but I have already shaved my head.
You're
as
so
a
generous.
Major contributor.
You're so generous.
So generous.
Joe will 100% shave his head for this.
Yes, I did, and I made a major sacrifice to be bald-headed for the kids.
So do you shave your head and donate money? Is that it? Can you donate money without shaving your head?
Yes, you can.
Oh.
Who are you donating to? I don't know. Give once. There you go.
And do we know that this is actually going to benefit kids with cancer? Because now I trust nothing.
Okay, let me look at it.
You made me second guess St. Jude. I still don't know why. I didn't even look into it.
Well, I'm going to look at. There's a website, Charity Navigator, and it gives a rating of how much percentage of what you're given goes to the charity. And Baldric's gives 96%, 4% of overhead, and 96% of the charity that is given. So they get a high marks as a great charitable. Which one did you say?
St. Jude's. Come on, St. Jude.
Oh,
99%. You made me doubt them. You said they weren't good.
I didn't say that. I've given recently. Let's see what the local one. There's a lot of St. Jude's.
Oh, I was right. Yes, at Penguin City on March 14th, we raised money for cancer research. Yes, you can donate to any of the shavies. Yes. Ashland's Alliance. Not the local one.
Alliance. So what I love about our area is that we are extremely charitable, and when we are called to action for something, and most of these government giveaways that benefit someone, if you would just ask the public directly, they would come through in spades. We
saw this when the government shut down. I've mentioned that we went to the pastors at our church and we were like, hey, how can we help? What are we doing to help people affected by the shutdown? And we were told, honestly, I've had more people ask me that than need help.
Yep.
So we're good.
But
great.
But the government sees that as competition because they can't scrape that, right? If you give it to the government and they work on a 80-20 split where 80% goes to overhead and fraud and 20% goes to the intended people that it was set up for, when you do it publicly, they can't see any action on that. They can't get any political money off of that. So they will make it extremely hard for people to be charitable privately.
And again, I now feel like after all of our discussions in the past, I have to ask, when St. Baldrick's donates money to cancer research, where exactly is it going? And do we see what's done with it? Or does it go to cancer research? Thank you. And we're going to keep just not finding a cure for cancer.
I've made you into too much of a cynic.
You made me so cynical.
I've made you a cynic. And yes.
I want a cure for cancer, and I want to know what the money's doing, and I want to know how close we are, and I really want to know if there's ever been a cure that was stifled for the gain of others.
I have so much to say, but it'll so get us kicked offline, so I'm not going to say.
Do you think we could and should have a cure by now? And
number one, I don't think anybody even knows what cancer is. And so everybody wants to cure something, but nobody even knows what it is. Okay. So even if we cured it, you wouldn't know that it was being cured because we don't know what it is and how it functions and how it works. All right. So yeah, you've probably been compromised for charities to take endless money on something that is probably totally curable. And there's big business interest. So I'm not saying that these charities are
are trying to help
for sure. Right. But I'm saying,
but then do we get duped on a higher level?
The people who benefit from cancer existing, do they have any incentive to make cancer not exist? And the answer, how long? Okay. So if you hired me to solve a problem for you, how long would you give me to solve it? Like, would you give me a week? Would you give me a year? Would you give me a decade?
It would depend on the complexity of the problem.
Oh, so there are some problems that are just too complex and you could be in an infinite loop of trying to solve the problem with interest, trying to make it so that you couldn't solve the problem. Interesting.
That's called government.
Bingo. We do have a call. That means that you can talk to him.
I wonder if it's Matthew. Oh, it's St. Baldrick's.
They're going to totally yell at you for shit talking.
I was not shit talking them.
All right, caller, you're on.
Hey, good morning. This is Bert Baird, a.k.a. Skeeter from Ashland's Alliance and St. Baldrick's, Youngstown.
Good morning.
Well, good morning. So we raise money for childhood cancer research for St. Baldrick's by shaving our heads. We work at it all year long, and This year, our event will be on March 14th down at Penguin City. And last year, when we did it on March 15th, we raised over $67,000.
Wow.
In the one-day shave event, we had about 93 shavees come down, shave their heads.
Wow.
You sign up early, you raise money through the website of St. Baldrick's. Once you sign up, then you start raising money. The money goes directly into your St. Baldrick's, basically your St. Baldrick's account. We'll put it that way. Last year, we had, like I said, 93 shavees. We had, I believe, 7 or 8 different teams of people that came in. They all had a great attitude, great way of raising their money differently. Personally, we had our own team of Team River Rats, mostly a bunch of people from Lowville or Lowville schools that we had together. We raised $22,000 as our team, but we're hoping to bust the bank this year and bust over 100,000, hopefully 125,000, and we'd like to have 200 shavees show up that day. We've got the time, we've got the space at Penguin City to fill it up. We've got things for the kids going on. We have bounce houses. We have Ninja Nation coming.
Awesome.
They're going to have their stuff set up. So the whole back room of Penguin City will be set up for the kids with a stage and a DJ back there. The whole front half of Penguin City will be just people having a lot of good times, the shenanigans going on while others are getting their heads shaved and raising money for the kids that are fighting for their lives.
So 2 questions. 1, what time does it start on the 14th? And 2, if someone wants to become a shavee, how can they sign up?
Easiest way to sign up is go to Ashland's Alliance, and what it'll do, it'll direct you directly to our page, and then you'll follow the script on there and sign yourself up and post your picture of what you look like today, what you want, and then you start encouraging people to donate to your page. And it'll start at 11 o'clock and go till, I believe we set the time, the stop time at like 7:30 that night. So we'll be down there all day with all the different shavees, and we have times allotted already that, you put your name on a certain time spot, and that's what time you're going to go get shaved. You won't be standing in line waiting. If you sign up to be shaved at noon, the times are open right now on the website to put yourself in there.
All right. Well, awesome. Thank you for the information.
Thank you. Last year we had right around, I want to say 9 ladies do it. You look great. You look great.
No, I'm just going to donate. I'm going to not probably shave my head.
We'll see.
Well, we also do the pie, what we call Pie in the Eye, and it's on the Ashland Alliance website. Pie in the Eye is you would get people to donate to you, and you get a pie in the face. Just not an apple pie or cherry pie or anything. It's just the
whipped cream.
I want to say the Cool Whip on a plate.
Yeah.
And then you could get one of your friends or your kids to do it for you. Like I say, it's 100% kids event. We do it out of our hearts. We raise the money for the kids and for St. Baldrick's. And I mean, when we have kids down there that are survivors that help shave, we have 2 of the boys, they're survivors from cancer, and they help shave, and they have their own teams also. We encourage anybody to join their teams. We've got a lot of great sponsors, and we're always looking for more sponsors.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You know what we could totally do?
What?
See how many of our viewers would donate to put a pie in your face. Like Julie could come out, and Matthew could come out, and
Liam,
and all kinds of people. Like, type in the chat if you would consider donating and going down to Penguin City and throwing a pie in Joe's face.
Why do you think I would be the bigger target? What about you? You don't think there's anybody who has massive Kelin hatred?
Everybody says you're mean to me. This is
not
their
true.
revenge. If you think
Not
Joe is
true.
unnecessarily mean to me.
Yeah, I'd do a pie in the face, but it would have to raise a lot of money. So you'd have to get the donations up there pretty good. Because think of that Cool Whip it's going to get in my mouth, I'm sure.
Yeah,
And
I'd
that's
do it
extra
for
sugar.
not a lot of money. No, I'm kidding.
Dude.
I'd be like,
Oh, who's mean now?
no, I would get a pie to the face, I'm saying, for not a lot of money. Because
So
it would be
gross.
delicious.
Okay.
If it's Cool Whip.
Mm-hmm. What else you got today?
Oh,
You let
let's
me rant
see.
about it, and I appreciate that.
I know, and all the other topics I think of are probably ones you would rant about. You could throw at each other. Would you hit me with a pie in the face?
Would I?
Yeah.
In a heartbeat. What?
That's
It's
it.
for charity.
It's on.
It's for
It's
charity.
on. I'm gonna wind up my arm.
No, don't
No.
hurt me. Just like
No promises.
what else? What else we got?
Oh, let's see. I saw a headline that said something about the administration attempting to or wanting to maybe take money from people's paychecks that have college loans
Oh, totally should.
deferred. I don't know how close they are to doing that. How do you feel about
I
that?
think at the beginning of the year, the first quarter, that they're going to start going after people who fraudulently took money from the government to get their education. And maybe these, universities could start doing refunds. Anybody who doesn't value what they bought from the university and wants their money back can totally, get a brain wipe, a little lobotomy action going in, take that education away and get a refund for it. I mean, that would be reasonable.
A lobotomy?
Lobotomy, yeah.
Yeah, that's totally reasonable.
Totally reasonable. Well, if you don't value something you bought, like if you go to the grocery store and say I bought chicken and the chicken was rotten and I couldn't feed my family, they give you your money back because you're obviously unhappy.
What
with
if
the
they're
product.
like, I enjoyed the education, but I didn't get a job with it?
Right? And so I'd like a refund. You charge me the money at full rate.
Yeah.
Government paid
No
for it.
lobotomy,
I've been
but
carrying this
you did
loan
owe me
forever.
a job, and I don't have a job in this
so
field.
before anybody gets another student loan, they should take a simple math test to make sure they understand what they are being loaned and how interest works. And if you can't pass that test, you don't get that loan. And then you look at it and say, hypothetically, the average tuition is $33,000, and you're going to be here for a minimum of 4 years. We're going to multiply 33,000 by the 4 years that you're going to be here, and you're going to pay 4% interest on that money. We're going to defer it so that you don't have to make any payments while you're still in school, because obviously we want you to be going to school and not having a job. But that 4% interest is compounding every year that you don't pay, every month that you don't pay it. So 4% on a, by the time you get to your senior year and you're at $150,000 of deal at 4% and 150, you're paying a good $700 worth of interest every stinking month. If you go too long, maybe we'll give you another deference for another 10 years. You have to pay nothing, right? While you get situated in your job, that 4%, that $700 a month is being tacked on the money that you owe, right? Do you like that? You haven't gone to college yet. You haven't signed on the dotted line, but this is what your financial future looks like. And by the way, when you do finally get that job after 8 years of doing internships and searching, you owe us about 5 years of everything that you're going to make, right?
Yeah.
To pay for the education. And because there was interest, now you're going to spend the next 20 years paying back the interest because we loaned you the money, right? Have a good day. And then you can have little consultants that come in and say, okay, this mathematically is solvable. People have been solving it for all their lives, right?
Yeah.
And all you have to do is buy what you can afford. So I'm going to look at what you can afford. I'm going to have you buy whatever you can afford. Oh, you have $10,000? Here's the amount of education that $10,000 buys. Go buy that, right? Oh, you want to do lesbian basket weaving? That's not in the budget right now. I'm sorry, university, but I can't buy that course that I have no interest in whatsoever. I need the $10,000 worth of information that's going to allow me to go get a job. I don't care about well-roundedness. I don't care about cultural exposure. I don't care about any of those things. I care about using this thing to go make a bunch of money in the marketplace and give good value to the marketplace. And that's what I'm willing to give you. And then academics are like, okay, well, they're not going to take our stupid classes that we make money on and they're stupid. They have no value whatsoever. We're going to have to give products to the people that are willing to pay for it. And now you could pay interest on your $10,000 because that's what you can afford, right? And it's like, okay, do you want to sacrifice 4 years of your first job worth of income, or 2 years, or 1 year, or like a half year? And you get to choose any one of those. I want to sacrifice the first year of me working. Cool. All right. That's how much money that is. How long do you want to pay for the rest of it? Do you want to pay for 5 years, 10 years? Oh, 5 years is good. Okay, cool. We're going to take money you have, the interest that you're willing to pay, right? And the loan value that we're willing to pay. That's what you have to shop with. Now that's in your shopping cart. It's a credit of whatever that money is. Go buy the classes that line up with what you want to be able to afford and go gangbusting. Solve the problem.
You know what I want a refund on?
What?
As part of my major, there was a course that you were required to take called internship, where you were required to go get an internship. However, before I took this class, I had already found an internship I wanted to do, regardless. Didn't even know I needed it. Hadn't gone to the class yet. Didn't know it was required. There was a radio station. I want to work there one day. I wonder if they accept interns. I called them up. Do you have an internship program by chance? Yes, we do. How does one become an intern? And I became an intern there. And I started working there on a regular basis. Then enters a course I am required to take called internship. And I said, oh, that's convenient. I already got one ready to go. Great. Not a problem. Started taking the class while I'm doing the internship. Everything seeming good. I was doing so well and I was working so much. I got hired once I graduated. I got a job because I met people. I knew how to do everything. I networked. It was an easy transition. The class picked a person at the station where I was working to basically be my, what would you even call it? The person who rates you, scores you, turns
Mentor?
in the information you did during your internship for the class. Yeah, like they had to say, well, what is it exactly that this person's doing? Give us some feedback. I could give feedback, but they wanted somebody working there to say, why don't you rate her and her performance on this internship? That person didn't know half of the things I was doing. Never saw any of it. And for whatever reason was just chosen as the feedback person. So not much feedback got back. And I didn't get a very good grade on my internship. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I was there in the morning, early. I was there throughout the day. I got hired. I did so well. Class, not so much, because you had a terrible contact person. That's what it came down to. You had a bad contact person. Can I get my money back for that class, please? It was a complete waste of my time. I didn't need it. I already got what I needed out of this internship. And if anything, it wasted my money because of how you went about this.
You go to the grocery store and you want to buy a loaf of bread. Pretty easy, right? You just need a loaf of bread. Everybody needs bread. And the grocery store is like, I'm sorry, ma'am. In order to buy bread, you have to buy expired almond butter. Have to buy it, right? And you're like, well, I want the bread, but if I have to buy the freaking almond butter, they're not giving you an almond butter. You have to buy the almond butter to qualify for the loaf of bread. When you got home and you stared at that almond butter that was expired, you can't even eat it. It's totally worthless to you.
Throw it away.
It's not something that you, even if you could eat it, that you would even like eating, but you had to buy it to be able to get the bread. Seems pretty scammy, right? Seems pretty like that business model is about making you buy other products that you would otherwise never in a million years buy. When you follow that template in the regular marketplace, we don't allow shit like that to happen. We don't put prerequisites to sell other products. It's not like I want to go to the doctor and get this cough checked out, and you got to buy this, and then got to buy that, and you got to buy this in order to make it worthwhile. That's scammy behavior, and we would never tolerate it in the true retail marketplace, because there would be
insurance companies do it.
If there were a grocery store that required it, there would be a grocery store that popped up and said and marketed specifically, we don't make you buy expired almond butter. And that would be an advantage that they would have Thank you,
Yeah.
sir. You have that advantage, and the marketplace would regulate that out. And then the expired almond butter sales people would be like, "Wow, this isn't benefit." The only way that you can get away with that is if all of those universities were complicit in the scam.
Yeah, just like insurance companies. I need a medication. Well, before we give you that medication, you've got to try this one first. I actually can't try that one. It's bad for me and it's detrimental. My doctor says I shouldn't take it. Well, that's too bad. You have to try this one
should
first.
Conspiracy be illegal in all respects?
Yeah.
So if you had two gas stations, right? You think that'd be pretty good because they'd be warring over prices. Oh, he raises price by $1. I'm going to lower my price by $1, right? What if they got together at Arby's and they were like, dude, listen, this is stupid between us. Let's just set our prices the same. Go into battle with you, like it's making both of us lose money. And we want to raise prices, we'll just do it together and people won't have any kind of choice and they'll just be forced to pay it because we're on the same page. Should that be illegal?
That sounds pretty shady.
From a consumer's end, it's terrible. It's great for the business end.
Yeah.
But if we ever found out the two companies were conspiring to do price fixing, people would go to jail because it's actually illegal. But then we take price fixing in other industries and totally allow it to happen. We have total cartels that manage pricing and they're always complicit. They're always conspiring to set pricing that are free from market factors, all with best intentions, but it always goes south. Jerry says it's called going for a checkup and the doctor saying all is good. See you in 6 months. Yeah. Although I do disagree with the see in 6 months part because don't put it on the schedule. I'll call you, Mother Scratcher.
Yeah.
Mother Scratcher.
I cancel appointments all the time because any little thing I see a doctor about at the checkout counter. All right, well, he wants to see you back about this and I'm like, no.
I'm sure he does.
If he did what I came here to do, I shouldn't need to see you again.
Right. You're fixed.
We solved the issue.
Yes. And that is especially in health with cancer, with every other ADHD and celiac and all of these things that are concocted by lifestyle. And then they're treated like there's some kind of disease that are inescapable. And then we just accept them as something, a reality of life. And then we don't make any changes. So not only are they complicit in making something perpetual, we're also convinced, right? And we go along with that, that perpetual,
my brother just again sent me a whole video of this guy talking about wheat and what we do to it in this country and bread and how we treat bread and the fake soft pillowies in our grocery store that we call bread that is actually not bread, and how if I go to any other country, bread would be fine to eat. Makes me want to travel. Looks so good.
Just plot you live in an area where you can put a little garden in the backyard and grow your own wheat and do your own thing. Here's the difference though. You're spoiled at this point. Okay. There are products that when they do focus groups, what is the most appealing part? So if you took some legitimate bread that you grew, you know what would happen? Everything you like about bread would be non-existent in the bread that you made yourself.
Yeah.
It's not fluffy and it tastes
doesn't last very long.
Doesn't last very long and whatnot. So to be like, I'm not going to make compromises in making it taste worse, right? Not have the texture that I'm used to. Like toothpaste, for instance. Toothpaste doesn't have to be bubbly and whatever.
Yeah.
But when you make toothpaste that's like charcoal that rubs over your teeth that might do a better job, you don't like it as much because it doesn't feel the same way. Right?
Yeah.
So we are complicit in making all the wrong things happen health-wise because we are demanding it. And so what are they going to say? Right? No.
This is what you want, so that's what we're going to make.
But if you decide that you're going to go do the thing that's worse, that tastes a little worse than whatever, but is more healthier, that's like how many of a decimal points behind of the population to be willing to do that? My answer is 0.
We had talked once before about getting steak straight from either like a butcher or a company rather than a grocery store. When you started doing that, did you taste a difference in it?
Yes.
Was it a good difference or was it something you had to get used to?
Some I had to get used to, yeah.
We did that. We went to another company. We're like, let's get some actual fresh meat. It's not going to come from the grocery store. It's not going to have all this junk in it. And it was good. But I was like, there is a little difference that you kind of have to get used to. It may not be as pleasing as you're used to.
So if you go to the grocery store and you have a thing of strawberries and every one of them is perfectly sized and has the perfect color to it, and you grow ones in your garden that are not the same color and all not the same size, and they're a little weird, right?
Yeah.
Which are you likely to buy? The ones that are perfect in the image of what perfect is, or the ones that you grew that are pesticide free, totally healthy, non-compromised?
Yeah. They're a little different.
Right. And that's the downside, that if, like cereals and the things that RFK Jr.'s doing, he's taking all of the aesthetically pleasing things out of food that are unhealthy for you. How quick before people demand that they want their cereal to look a certain way, where the color marshmallows aren't popping like they are.
Yeah.
Right?
Didn't I just see an article too about something he was trying to do was just blocked? Because this politician is saying, well, it could unnecessarily hurt the companies that make this dye or make whatever.
Never be a consideration. Shouldn't in a million years take that into consideration.
Well, it's being considered.
Yeah. But here's the spoiler. Anybody can go learn something and break out and start doing different things. So if you don't like the wheat and how it's being farmed, you can go do it yourself. There was a book that when I was just probably in my late teens, talking about like early marketplaces where you wanted a luxury item, that how many different countries would have to be sourced and how much that would cost. Things that cost us 10 cents now have millions of dollars worth of network movement in order to get that thing to you. So would you be willing, if you wanted to source things directly, to give up all of the luxuries of our marketplace? Instead of it being easy and cheap, it would be hard and expensive, but it would be authentic. How many people would be willing to do that? But the market goes to a point where it makes it sort of creates a tolerance where we're willing to be a little bit more expensive, but not too expensive. And we're willing to be a little unsafe and unhealthy, but not too unhealthy and safety.
Yeah.
We're on the other side of that, where everything is expensive, everything is unhealthy, because the marketplace has gotten so used to us blindly buying into things and not having an understanding of how food works or nutrition works. And so then we'll buy all the wrong things. We'll complain about how those things hurt us, and we'll be given options to not buy those things. And we'll demand that we want all the good over here with none of the bad.
How do you feel about, so I wasn't yet back living in Ohio when the East Palestine train derailment happened. Mm-hmm. I moved back, I think, shortly after, maybe the next year. If you lived close to East Palestine, would you bury things in your yard and make your own food?
No, not a chance in hell.
So what do those people do?
They move. We're
you
nomads.
Would just move?
We're nomads. You get in your covered wagon and you trek across the plains and the tundras to get to a place that there wasn't a train derailment.
Yeah.
Go, leave.
Is there anything that can be done for that area?
Just time.
Just over time,
yeah.
It'll
all of this stuff nature has a way of healing itself. So if you plop down radioactive material in the middle of your backyard, there'd be a period of time that you wouldn't want to play there, right? Mm-hmm. And then a bunch of millennia go by, and it's going to be safe, totally safe eventually.
I've thought about, not that we live super close there, but I've thought about, just out of sheer curiosity, having things like water tested and different things tested on our property. And should we be using a water filter and all these other things?
Yeah, you're going to find that you're probably doing more wrong than right. And so each one of those decisions, like I do reverse osmosis. I don't drink out of plastics. I don't let things sit in the sun. I make a lot of the right steps. And if everybody else is drinking PCBs, they're drinking water out of the tap and all of that, you're like, you got so much going wrong for you. Just do one different thing and it's better than what you're doing.
Because we sort of got rid of a lot of plastics a year or so ago. We're got rid of any K-cups and went to regular glass coffee pot. All of our Tupperware is glass now instead of plastic. My water bottle is glass. If we do have a plastic water bottle and it gets left in the car, pitching it. So I guess it's a little bit. Now I'm just like, well, how's the water in this machine? But I guess it's better than nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you're making movements to do some of the right things once you know about them, like you're ingesting plastics every day that is doing things inside your body that are probably not good, right? I had one lady tell me, I was working with a nutritionist, and I wanted to evaluate the stuff that I was eating by looking at what was in my fridge, right? And I felt like I was pretty good. I had a lot of fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, cheeses, milks, proteins, whatever. There wasn't junk food in my fridge at all.
Yeah.
And I got hammered. And I'm like, if I get hammered for what I'm doing, and one of the things that lasted with me is that, we go to the grocery store once a week, right?
Uh-huh.
And we put it in our fridge, and we would like the food not to spoil by the time it's time to eat.
Yeah.
If anything lasts in there more than 2 days, there's more preservatives and more chemicals to make it so that it doesn't die sooner. You should not be eating any
So
of
is that what you were hammered for? Is the preservatives and
yeah.
everything?
Like there were
Yeah.
cheeses that should have been dead within a day and a half, and you put them in there, and like 5 weeks later, it's still edible. And like, wait, something's not right there. And it's great intentions. You want food to last long. But the problem is we don't have starvation here. We have nutrition deficient people, but we don't have people like, there's just not enough calories to go around, right? So making food last a long time would mean that people need that food to last so that they don't die from a lack of calories. We have fat people, lots of fat people around here. So get cheeses, get food that perish super quick, that are super natural, and like I have, when I go grocery shopping, I buy 7 meats: pork, chicken, steak, fish, whatever. And I take 2 of them, put them in the refrigerator, and 5 of them put in the freezer. I eat one, I take one out and put it in the refrigerator, and it starts thawing. And that freezing doesn't add chemicals, right, that I'm afraid of. But if I just took 5-7 meats and they lasted the whole week long and they were just fine, I would start to question what preservatives were making something that shouldn't happen like that.
Yeah, I was going to say it should be okay if it's in the freezer.
Yes.
To last longer.
Yeah, we figured that out. Salts,
yeah,
you're like smoking and freezing are pretty safe.
So I feel like this leads us to the question.
Yeah.
Do you have a New Year's resolution?
No, I don't do New Year's resolutions.
Never?
Never,
ever?
Nope.
There's nothing you're like, 2026, I'm going to do this differently.
No,
I learned from 2025 and this will
all
be different.
you normies set a goal that lasts 3 weeks and then you totally forget that you set that goal. I just do that all year long.
I used to work in a gym years ago, and every January we would see this like obvious influx of new members.
Yep.
And then March we would run a big sale to get everybody back, because by March they were gone.
Yeah.
It was like, there's nothing you want to like work on doing better, differently.
No, I mean, when I think of something doing better, I just do it all year round. I don't wait for one time a year to throw it out there. It's just part of my normal.
Yeah.
All you normies out there who are like, I'm going to ring the bell this year. No, you're not. You're not.
Like I keep seeing people, January 1st, I'm going to really start watching this. And I'm eating all the bad food now so that I can start different January 1st. I'm like,
yeah, cookie table was there and I passed on it all Christmas long because I just didn't want to do that thing. I don't have to set a resolution. I just do what I want. And I want to eat that.
I'm going to work harder in my workouts. I feel like I did 1 year of consistency to keep the habit. I'm consistently working out. This next time, I'm going to work harder when I do it. So consistency is down. Now let's add some weight. That's what I'm going to do.
I don't doubt you. I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
But you're abnormal. So I give you a little bit more, you have more ability.
Okay. I was saying, I choose to take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
I'm Abby normal.
Normies will be done by the 3rd week of January. They'll say it. They'll go into it with fire. By that, their life will take over and totally kill their efforts.
I was like, screw January 1st. Last night, I said, you know what? I bet I can do an overhead press heavier than this. And last night, I increased the weight on my overhead press. And this was not January 1st. It was not a Monday. Doing it right now. And I did.
Well, here's the challenge for Joe's birthday.
Yeah.
Do something and don't wait till January 1st. Just do it today.
Do it today.
Do it for today.
It is a Monday, so people that like to start on Mondays.
Just start anytime. Like, you don't have to wait till
Just
Joe's birthday to do it. You can do it every day.
Jerry's, he says, again, Joe is abnormal and doesn't think or act as others do. LOL.
Yeah. On purpose.
Is
That's
that
for
always a good thing?
It always is a good thing in comparison. Pit me against anybody and I win.
Depending on the subject matter.
Subjects that matter.
Logic,
Subjects
math,
that matter.
reasoning,
Yes.
education,
Yes.
intellectual
Oh,
ability,
you mean everything that matters? Okay. Yeah.
multiverse,
W for Joe.
space,
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
But emotions,
Overrated.
people connection,
Overrated.
emotional intelligence.
Hey, I will audit any of these departments any day.
You say overrated.
Overrated.
Overrated because you're not the best at
Okay,
it.
so no. If the civilization that's up in front of us were dominated by amazing people, that would be an advantage. There's shitheads out there, right?
Yeah.
You want to go connect with those shitheads? Have at it, right? I'm gonna own those shitheads, and that's my strategy on the logical side. I don't want to be friends with people who are shitheads.
True. Oh, Julie. Hi, Julie. Emotions and empathy lacking.
Yeah,
Because Joe's AI.
by design, I'm computer-like. Nobody. Okay, make your best pitch. Win me over to the empathy, relational, and emotional side, and just tell me what I'm missing, and
Have you
I am open to
ever
it.
experienced a situation, a time, whatever,
Mhm.
that you thought, even for a second, oh, this situation would be easier if I had a little more either emotion, empathy, emotional intelligence, people connection, any of those things.
But as you see, my job is to not make things easier. Like, you think my nutrition regimen is easy? My goal is not to make things easier. So if I have to logic my way out and getting my way in something I'm not good at, I do it any day of the week. And emotional empathy and all that stuff, like, it's not high on the value of targets. I could still logic my way into those things and still get my way, is the point.
Is your wife more emotional?
Yeah.
Would you say she might disagree with saying you should not think it's not high on
No,
the...
I end up helping her more than she helps me. Because I'm telling you, emotional, empathetic, relational people are wrecking balls. And they deal with so much sadness, so much confusion, so much anger because they're connecting with shitheads. If there were good people on their side, it would be a great exchange, but they're not. We talk about shitheads every day, right? So if you could promise me that you would eliminate all shitheads, then I would go connect a little bit more because I wouldn't have to
Like,
deal
you're
with
like,
the
you got to
shitheads.
make it worth it for me to want to connect with people.
I would rather go meet someone, figure out that they're a shithead and own them, take them for everything that they're worth, right? Which is the majority of people out there. Come across a nice person. You know what a nice person is super eager to do? Overlook the fact that I don't like emotionally connect with them and still get all the benefits of connecting with another person.
What do you mean by you own them and
Own
take them for what they're worth? How so?
So usually those people are very dumb and predictable. Like, so owning someone is being able to take the predictability and nature of someone, right? And be able to intellectually be a superior to them. So owning them means that they can't hurt you because they're docile, dumb, emotional creatures. And when they say like 2 words, you can already have profiled and figured out where they're coming from. They can't scam you. They can't end around you. They don't have anything on you. You can own them. And that way you can
It sounds like you prevent them from owning you is what you're doing.
Well, that can't be done.
Well,
That
yeah.
can't be done.
I don't know what
So somebody
if you're
comes up-
owning them, but you're at least protected that they're not going to affect
Well,
you.
yeah, I probably won't take action because there's nothing they have that I want. So it's not like I'm shaking them down for a resource of some kind.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that if they're like, hey, I'm in a bad spot, can I borrow $100? Right? I own them because I know that what they're asking for, I know ahead of time whether or not it's legitimate or not because I'm intellectually have ownership of their thoughts and actions.
But really, it's you just don't ever get owned.
Oh, I
You're
don't-
like, oh, I see what you're doing there, and I'm out.
If I enter into something, it's willingly, even knowing that sometimes I'm giving into something I think is stupid. I do it willingly.
Like, to me, when you say I own them, it would be like, hey, Joe, do you have $100 I can borrow and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, You're not going to make me fall for this. I know it's scammy, but I'm going to make you do this for me and do this for me and do this for me. And I'm going to manipulate you.
Yeah.
To me, that's...
You could, but you could. Like,
Yeah.
I could turn it in that the guy that comes to me wants $100, that first I have to have him fill out paperwork of the Joe's Loanership program of $20, and then 6 payments of $17.99 for the luxury of giving him $100. And I could own him because he wouldn't realize that I structured it in a way that he'd be paying more money than I gave him. And he would leave it thinking that he got it. But in reality, I made more money on that transaction than he did. I could do that, but think of all the time involved in taking a stupid person and manipulating them into extracting value. I don't waste my time on that.
And again, you're not really owning anyone. You could, but you don't. You just don't get
But
owned.
that is the power to know that you can dominate any other person because of that intellectual superiority.
Have you taken that next step?
Own someone in that way?
Yeah.
There's been some vindictive things where it wasn't a resource, but I
You were like,
wanted to injure someone, and I did use my superiority to create a little,
you used it
little
for
bit of injury.
evil.
Yeah, I used it as a weapon a couple times. Just when I was younger, when it mattered.
Julie says, kindness and empathy are part of the human experience. I tend to believe Joe has superiority complex. Superiority.
Again, the human experience is a little overrated. Like, when you got as much stuff figured out as I do, the human experience really doesn't enter. Like, I want to go to college, right? And I want the college experience. And if you notice, the college experience isn't learning physics or getting good grades or getting internship. It's beer pong, right? And having sex with a bunch of random strangers. Well, I'm going to bail on the whole college experience, and I'm going to go get the value out of the thing that I'm doing. I will defer. I will push it. I can go do beer pong any time of the day. I don't need the college experience version of it. I can go have sex with people all the time if I want to. I'm not going to go have random sex with strangers when I need to be studying. I need to be getting good grades, and I know I'm there, right? And it's not for beer pong and sex. So yeah, you can take your human experience, put it in a condom, and put it in the toilet and flush it.
I still say it sounds a little like a defense mechanism.
For what though? Don't ... me. Bring it. What, defending against what?
Are we going to have therapy session?
It depends if it makes sense.
Dr.
If you're a good
Kelin.
therapist. Go ahead, Dr. Kelin.
I can't get into many details because I don't know. I think somewhere in your past,
Yes.
someone or a group of people or an organization, I don't know if it was a singular person or a whole bunch, someone hurt Lil Joe Danyi,
Mm-hmm.
and as a defense, you shut down and you turned off any emotional connection that would feel painful.
In your pursuit of the human experience, have you ever gotten hurt?
Yes.
Okay. So really, I have properly categorized.
Oh yeah, there are times I wish I could do that.
I have categorized. So let me give you this experience. I used to work at a circus, right? And there were lions.
You've literally had every job.
This is fake.
Okay. Because I totally believed it because I've heard of other jobs you've had.
I worked at a circus.
Okay.
And I was in charge of feeding the lions, right?
Yeah.
Right. And the lions will eat or they'll eat you. And I got bit by a couple of lions, right?
Uh-huh.
And then if you were feeding the lions, you too would get bit by lions. All I did was categorize, and I said, here's where the dangers are. These are the type of lions, and here's the circumstances where they bite you. And I make sure that I'm not injured by biting lions because there's a danger there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's benefits, right? I got paid for it. I knew what my requirements were. So I do all of the requirements, but I'd overextend myself into places where all I'm going to do is biting is the only reward for doing XYZ. So I'm just not going to do the XYZ thing. So this isn't like I'm removing myself from something that is a requirement. This is a experience that are not required, that cause danger, that I don't want anything with, and I'm choosing not to do those things.
And you don't think you ever went a little, not overboard, but like further in that direction than maybe you had intended? Like, hey, I'm not going to put myself too close to the lion and get bit. Makes sense. But did you then say, I'm also never going to the circus again, and now I hate animals?
No.
And I'm never talking to people that like
those
going there. And
those categorizations aren't ultimate, right? There's nothing that I say I'm going to throw a baby out with the bathwater because of a bad experience. It's a categorization where I judge environments and people on the fly, and I put them in their proper category as I experience them. So I could meet a person and totally put them in that category and make them dead to me forever, right? And I can meet another person and they don't hold, I'm like, oh, a person, right? They get their own risk classification for me.
And I do, I have seen where there were instances where I'd be like, oh man, this situation I'm in would be way easier to handle if I could be more like Joe.
Way bigger upside.
If I could shut this off
Way
right
bigger
now,
upside.
I would.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's all. I'm playing a game where there's no upside, so I'm not going to take risk when there's no upside. Even it's almost like even if you win that race, right? There's no benefit in it. So you can do a hard thing and not win anything.
I do think though sometimes those extremely difficult, more emotional situations, while they suck at the time and feel like no benefit for you, I think give you an experience to help benefit someone else.
You can get that elsewhere.
If you've not experienced it and you don't feel what someone else might feel, how do you get that elsewhere?
Well, I'm not, there are plenty of other people that can fill that role. That's not
Oh, you're wheelhouse. Saying you don't need to be in that position to help other people.
Somebody else can help it because that's their wheelhouse.
So really then, you being the way you are can only be predicated if other people are not like you.
For sure.
If everybody became like you, we'd be screwed.
This would not work. If everybody was like me,
yeah,
in 2 seconds, I would be different. Like I would choose to not be status quo because you can't be excellent if you're the same as everyone else. So you have to go be different and dominate in a different area. And I would in 2 seconds. I'd pivot in 2 seconds.
And if everybody were the opposite,
then I would.
That wouldn't be good either.
Right. Yeah.
We need AI Joe Danyes.
Of course you do. All right.
And it's his birthday. So everyone say happy birthday to Joe on social media.
Happy birthday to me.
Yay.
All right. Peace out, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. This is original Youngstown content. Feel free to share our videos and tell your friends about us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. Thank you for your support.